Afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
You don't have one? Oh, you should have.
I was just going to wait 1 minute, see if the planning staff is here for workshop questions.
I just sent a text to
And
see.
that's the tendency to.
There we go. He's logging in.
Unless your staff members or commissioners or presenters.
Scott's logged in now, Rob.
Thanks, Charlene. Okay, I think we can get going here. I'll call the work session to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook Askins,
Present.
Commissioner Thomas,
Present.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Here.
Chair Kurth.
Here. All right, so we have four items on the agenda tonight. We'll start with number one and see if any of us has any workshop questions for staff on item number one, which is the commercial building, the Dollar General building on Village Drive.
That's just going to butt up against the wash, right?
That's correct.
Do they have to put any kind of barrier, Scott, between their parking lot, which I assume that'll be what'll be down there, and that chain link fence with the barbed wire? Or does it just use that?
The code only requires a barrier when a commercial project abuts a residential development. So in this case, there's no wall or replacement fencing proposed.
I have a question. As the customers are leaving the Dollar General parking lot, are they going to be able to make a left-hand turn onto Village heading south? Because I know at times Village can be pretty busy at times and making that left-hand turn, cars darting out and trying to make it.
Great question. Yes, my understanding is that there's going to be a left turn movement allowed, at least where it aligns with Calibre Road.
Sure. Okay.
Question on Village Drive approaching that parcel, is it straight or is it curved, or is there any danger to oncoming traffic up in that area?
There is. Engineering is concerned with the site distance triangle there. I believe we even have some conditions that address that as the plans would come in. Freddie Bonilla from our engineering department is available. Is there anything else you want to add, Freddie?
Yeah, the only thing I would add, Scott, is that it's currently signed as a stop intersection. And so we're requiring that the exiting traffic out of Village Drive basically observe the stop. So they'll have an opportunity, provided they make their stop.
But as far as the landscaping and, placement of the monument sign, we would make sure that it's free, moved. It's not obstructing the sight line of people wanting to exit out from that driveway. So we are, obviously along a curved intersection as this is, it's something that the city would consider and make sure that the sight distance triangle is observed.
Correct.
Okay, then we'll go to number 2, which is the hotel development over there off Locust and Mariposa. Any questions on that project?
Just one question. There's I think, trailer home park over there behind the site, and is there going to be fencing or anything to block that, or is that going to be something that the tenants, the occupants of the hotel will see?
Yes, it's at this point it's unavoidable, just based on the height of the hotel. I mean, you could look down upon it.
Right.
My understanding is the applicant is wanting to install a block wall along that southern edge of their property.
And on that same note, as far as the easement goes, we're trying to get access with the Victor Elementary School District. How's that process coming along?
As of a week ago, when we talked with the developer, he has initiated that process again with the school district. It just takes some time to go through their required public hearings. But my estimate would be, 3-4 months for them to obtain that. The developers, requesting that the city take action on this proposal so they can, start their plan check review to be ready to construct about the same time that they finalize that access easement with the school district.
Thank you.
But that is mandatory. That would be a mandatory piece of condition, that for this hotel to go in there, that there be an additional access easement.
The way it's worded, it's the preferred route. We realize that there is site constraints with any development. So the requirement is for the developer to go through a good faith attempt to obtain that easement. But ultimately, if they're not able to and they can prove that, the discretion would be up to the fire chief to ensure that proper access is given to the site.
So Scott, there's no sound wall then there between the parking lot and then the freeway. It's just gonna be that exposed chain link?
Correct. Yeah, the Caltrans didn't install that, and we do not have a requirement for a block wall for the hotel.
Okay.
Okay, then number 3 is the amendment to the Old Town specific plan. And I imagine, Scott, I read in there that there's just some discrepancies on some of the land use zoning areas.
I wouldn't say it's discrepancies. The proposal that we're bringing forward is to adjust to trends that have occurred since the plan was adopted a couple of years ago. This is typical after receiving feedback from developers on what they'd like to develop in certain areas. And, knowing the city's efforts with bringing a wellness center or navigation center to the area, we wanted to make sure that we close the loop and bring adjustments to the specific plan forward, so that if future development comes, we can be more accommodating. For example, within the residential medium district, it currently doesn't allow for single family homes. But the last couple of years, we have had more proposals to build single family in those areas. And they're on lots that are conducive to a single family development. As you know, in Old Town, they're smaller parcels. So it's not as feasible to build what the specific plan originally envisioned, which was more of a developments with higher density, where a developer would have to come in and accumulate a few lots to make a meaningful development. And we just haven't seen that pan out yet. So we want to make sure that there's some flexibility for developers, given that the state wants, cities to accelerate housing production. We want to try to, we're bringing forward this amendment to help accommodate more flexibility, which in turn should bring more housing units to the area.
Any more questions on that item? Okay, item number 4 is the alcohol license type application. Okay. Then I'll adjourn the workshop meeting to our 5 o'clock regular meeting. We have just a few minutes, and we'll reconvene at that time. Okay, it's 5 o'clock now. If we want to get started, if everyone's here. I'll go ahead and call to order the City of Victorville Planning Commission meeting of May 12th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook Askins,
Present.
Commissioner Thomas,
Present.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Mike.
Sorry, here.
and Chair Kurth.
Here. Okay, at this time, we'll have the invocation led to us by Commissioner Thomas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by myself. If we'll please rise.
Please bow your heads. Father God, we come to you today first thanking you for your abundant blessings. Father, we ask that you guide and direct us in our deliberations today. Grant us the wisdom and courage to do the things that are right. Father, let us work in harmony, and may our actions be in your will. Father God, bless this city of Victorville, and may it continue to grow and prosper. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one
One
nation,
nation.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
Okay, next we have a set of minutes that we'll need to deal with from the April 14th, 2021 meeting. I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve those minutes of April 14th, 2021.
I second.
Is that you, Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
All right. Take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Thank you. We can now move on to our public hearing items. Staff report for agenda item number 1, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Chairman Kurth, fellow commissioners. Item number 1 is case PLAN 21-00001. It is a site plan with an environmental exemption to allow for the development of a commercial retail building on 2 undeveloped properties zoned C1 Neighborhood Service Commercial. This is located at the south, it's located southeast of and abutting Village Drive and approximately 330 feet north of Mojave Drive. The proposal consists of a 10,640 square foot Dollar General retail store on 2 undeveloped parcels. Primary driveway access will align with Colubre Road across the street, and secondary access will be provided via the shared driveway on a 3rd undeveloped parcel to the north. The project has been conditioned to meet all development code requirements, and therefore staff recommends that the Planning Commission find the project categorically exempt under section 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, entitled Infill Development Projects, and section 15315 entitled Minor Land Divisions, and adopt resolution number P-21-021 approving the site plan portion of case number PLAN 21-00001, subject to the attached conditions of approval. Staff remains available should you have any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Any questions from the commissioners at this point? Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and I'll open up the public hearing to see if there's anyone to speak to us on this agenda item number 1.
There are no speakers.
Okay, thank you. I will then close the public hearing. And I'll bring it back to the commission, but I forgot I did have one quick question. I think I noticed on the site plan and in some of the conditions, is that a detention basin that's on site there? For water?
Yes, Commissioner Kurth, there is a requirement that they detain the flows based off of the new impervious surface that they're adding to the site. So yes, they all commercial developments these days require some type of detention, either through like underground chambers under the parking lot. In this case, they're proposing a detention basin within the planter area. So it'll still be landscaped though.
Right. Yeah, I just wasn't sure on projects as small as this. I'm not used to seeing the larger, detention on site. But okay, thank you for that. And then I'll ask the commission for a determination.
I'll move that we pass the agenda item as written.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? No. I have a motion by Vice Chair Harriman, a second by Chair Kurth. Roll call vote, Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
and Chair Kurth.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And we can go on to agenda item number 2, staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth. Item number 2 is case PLAN 21-00005. It is a site plan and conditional use permit with an environmental exemption to allow for the development of a 119-room hotel on 4 undeveloped C2 general commercial zone parcels of land. This is located east of Interstate I-15, west of Locust Avenue, and south of Nisqually Road. The applicant is requesting approval of a 5-story hotel with the name brand of Hampton Inn Hotel. It's consisting of a total of 70,000 square feet of floor area. The project is proposed on approximately 3.5 acres of undeveloped land. And the parcels were once owned by the city of Victorville as part of the Nisqually Interchange Project. The hotel's primary access will be from Locust Avenue via Mariposa Road. The common amenities proposed include a main lobby area with adjacent breakfast area, a fitness room, an indoor pool, an outdoor patio with grill and fire pit, guest laundry and guest restrooms on the first floor as well. The project conforms with all municipal code standards. With one caveat, the underlying general commercial district permits a maximum building height of 45 feet unless otherwise approved by the Planning Commission. What's proposed here is something a little over, it's slightly under 60 feet at the tallest parapet, which is in conformance with past approvals by the Planning Commission. Most recently, a Home to Suites hotel was approved 56 feet in height directly across the freeway from this development. And there's numerous other existing hotels that exceed the minimum 45 feet height. Our general plan allows up to 120 feet. So we're in conformance with our general plan and the allowances of our municipal code to exceed that 45 feet, should the Planning Commission find that this development is appropriate. So with that, staff finds and recommends that the project be determined to be categorically exempt under section 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, entitled Infill Development Projects. and adopt a resolution number P-21-022, approving the conditional use permit portion of case number PLAN 21-00005, and adopt resolution number P-21-023, approving the site plan portion of case number PLAN 21-00005, subject to the attached conditions of approval. Therefore, staff remains available should you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Webb. Any questions for staff before we open the public hearing?
I have a question. I should have probably asked this earlier. Are there any road improvements that need to be done to the cul-de-sac by the developer? Or is the cul-de-sac already built, or is the infrastructure all there? Curb, gutter, sidewalk?
I believe that the curb and gutter is there. I'm going to defer to Brian Gingler on this.
Yes, that's correct, Commissioner. The cul-de-sac has been built to city standards, the curb and gutter. They'll need to put in sidewalk and, driveway approaches and all that good stuff. But the basic road improvements are already there.
Thank you.
I had a question kind of in that same sense. In the workshop, it was brought up the point of access. And we understand that, they're attempting to gain approvals or some kind of an easement through the school district property and then through that into the new development along Mariposa Road. That seems like that could be a challenge. I don't know. It sounds like they're giving it a shot, but I noticed in the conditions from the fire department, and I know fire staff isn't here for all the details, but typically in our experience, it said, if that extra access can't be gained, then the fire department would add, I think they said they would add additional and life safety improvements to the conditions. Do we have any idea what that might look like should they not get their second point of access?
I don't want to speak for the fire department or the fire chief, but there could be some additional fire ratings to the walls, additional fire hydrants on site. It would ultimately, based on the conditions, be up to the fire chief's discretion, given the site constraints of the existing development only having one point of access. The fire chief would have to make that call, but that's only after the applicant would provide proof that they were unable to obtain that access easement. Our hope is that they do provide that secondary access, but we realize that may not be totally in the developer's control, since a public entity, the school district, would have to allow that.
And Mr. Gengler, is that solely because it's on a cul-de-sac, which we just don't see too often? Because we have 2 points of access out onto a street, but because it's in essence only going in one direction, is that what's causing the need for that?
Yes, exactly. It is because the primary access is off of that cul-de-sac.
So if something happened or if fire personnel came in, they would, obviously used Locust, and they would have 2 points to go around the building, but going out Locust is not enough. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And then one more final thing I had on that. I know when we approved some of those projects just a little to the north and east, fuel station and some ancillary uses, there was talk from the school district regarding Locust and Mariposa. They had just asked if there was going to be a signal. I don't know if they wanted a signal. With this additional traffic, was there any more talk of a signal, or are we good with that because the existing or the new one that's going to be coming in for the retail center is still going to serve its purpose?
I'm not aware that there was a discussion about a signal at Locust and Mariposa, but in any case, this project didn't warrant the installation of a signal there. It's possible as the area develops, maybe there will be a signal there and it will meet the warrant someday.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
And I didn't think about it earlier, but there used to be school buses parked on that school property. Are those going to be there, and will they be using Locust for ingress and egress?
I am not sure what the school district uses that facility for. My understanding is that they use it periodically for training and maybe some storage of maybe some food product for their overall school district. They have a separate a bus yard located in a different location in Victorville. So I'm not sure why there was a few buses there. I know what you mean, but it's not envisioned or permitted right now for a bus yard.
Okay, if there's no other questions, then I'll open up the public hearing on agenda item number 2, if there's anyone here to speak to us on number 2.
There are no speakers.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
I'm
you.
sorry. We do have one.
Okay,
Miguel Soto?
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. I just had one question. What are we exempting, or what's exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act? So what, if we're getting exempt from that section, what are some of the consequences or negative effects that can potentially be affected from being exempt from this? I'm just seeing like environmental assessment and exemption from the environment. So what does that mean necessarily? That's my question. What does environmental assessment exempting from that mean? And will there be any sort of environmental consequences from doing so? Thank you.
That's pretty typical on infill lots that we see, but if staff wants to just give a quick little explanation on that.
Sure. Thank you, Chairman Kurth. So with the California Environmental Quality Act, there's a section of that act that talks about categorically exempt projects. And projects that fall under this infill exemption that we're using would be under 5 acres in size. They wouldn't have habitat for any endangered species. In this case, these properties have already been cleared and leveled, so there's no suitable habitat there. Also another characteristic of the infill exemption is that the utilities are provided, and that is the case in this case since Locust isn't approved. So it's not necessarily that we're trying to avoid the CEQA process. We are actually going through the environmental process by adopting an exemption. So this is part of the CEQA allowances, and the applicant would have the ability to file a notice of exemption should this project be approved. But it is, like you said, Chairman Kurth, typical for this type of infill development.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Webb. Are we seeing any other speakers?
No.
Okay, thank you. And I'll close the public hearing on agenda item number 2, and I will bring it back to the commission for a determination.
I'll move that we approve the project as written.
And I'll second.
Second,
I have a motion by Vice Chair Harriman, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. Roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye,
That motion passes.
thank you. So now we'll move on to agenda item number 3, which has to do with the Old Town specific plan updates. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth, fellow commissioners. Yes, item number 3 is case PLAN 21-00016. It is an amendment to the Old Town specific plan with an environmental finding of previously assessed to allow for additional land uses, to redesignate a portion of the active open space and open space land use districts to medium, so to residential medium density, and to remove the community anchor overlay district, as well as other minor modifications within the Old Town specific plan. The location of the specific plan is on property bounded roughly by the Mojave River and Starter Wells Road to the northeast, 11th Avenue to the east, Mojave Drive and Verde Street to the south, and Interstate 15 to the northwest. Staff's bringing forward this amendment. We envision this amendment to be routine and appropriate, given that the Old Town specific plan was just approved 2 years ago. So we've had some time now to implement this plan and work out some of the practical kinks that have come up when working with developers. Karam, if you could on the slideshow go back to the proposed land use. Okay, great. So the yellow area that's shown in this graphic is the residential medium district, and it allows for multifamily developments currently. What we're proposing is to permit, in addition to multifamily dwellings, single family homes, also conditionally permit neighborhood markets. So if there was an appropriate location where somebody wanted to build a market, a site plan and conditional use permit would come forward to the Planning Commission for review. Also, this land use designation has been expanded north of East Street. So where you see that light blue area, which is light industrial, that yellow area between East Street and the Mojave River currently is all zoned for open space. However, we realize that there's an existing neighborhood there, and we have had some developers ask to build housing in that area. We also, from the city standpoint, have been pursuing a navigation center in the area, which is another residential component. So with this proposal, we're recommending to permit navigation centers on sites that are over 2.5 acres in size. The mixed use service district, and this is the areas in pink, it currently does not allow for auto repair or auto sales. So what we're recommending is that those uses be added as conditionally permitted. So again, we'd want to make sure that the site design would mitigate any negative impacts, maybe due to noise generated by that use. So again, that's discretionary in nature, but we wanted to allow that flexibility should somebody want to develop that type of use in the area. And then lastly, the community anchor overlay. The blue areas in the center of the site where the former junior high was located, that area in blue will remain community anchor. So what the specific plans envisions is some type of anchor community use, whether that's a sports complex or a university or another school. It would still permit that there. The current plan expanded that community anchor to west of Center Street, all the way out to 7th Street. And that caused some confusion for developers that were asking what uses were permitted. So just to avoid the confusion, kind of streamline it, we wanted to remove that overlay district. If that community anchor expands, if that primary community anchor site that's in blue develops and they eventually expand, we can address that and accommodate those expansions into that pink area when that time occurs. But until then, we just wanted to streamline it. So You know, that summarizes all of the revisions that are brought forward. There are a lot of, you know, minor changes. The largest change would be to, you know, allow single family within the residential medium district and expand that yellow medium district north of East Street. So with that, staff's recommending that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council find the project previously assessed under the 2018 Old Town Specific Plan Amendment Mitigated Negative Declaration and adopt resolution number P-21-024, recommending City Council approval of the specific plan amendment case number PLAN 21-00016. And then just to add to the environmental assessment, since the project was recently adopted in 2018, the environmental review is somewhat recent, and it went through a full initial study, was routed through the state clearinghouse, and has mitigation measures that all properties would abide by. Given the minor revisions that we're proposing, we are recommending that the city rely on that previous environmental review, since the boundaries of this the specific plan haven't changed. So with that, I'm available should you have any questions, and I'll bring it back to you, Commissioner Kurth.
All right, thank you, Mr. Webb. Any questions from the commissioners on that overview?
I have a question. Scott, did you say the pink area was not to have any automotive repair or sales? Or was it the pink area?
Yeah, so the pink area, yeah, thank you for bringing that back up. So the pink area, along with the red area, well, actually, the entire specific plan does not allow for auto repair or auto sales. So what we're proposing in those mixed service districts to conditionally allow auto repair and auto sales. Specifically, we've had some requests for auto repair and auto sales along D Street. And given that we still want to preserve that red area for future retail development, mixed use development that may not be conducive to auto repair, we felt, given that this is Route 66, which is highly automotive, that it's not unheard of to have automobile uses along this corridor. So again, that's just for the pink areas within the specific plan, and it would be conditionally allowed, which means that the business owner or developer would need to request a conditional use permit, and the property owners within 300 feet would be notified and be able to provide feedback on that proposed development.
Okay, would any existing automotive, Bob's Tire and all that, their grandfather, that nothing will affect them?
Correct. Yes. When the specific plan was adopted, they may have become a non-conforming use, but that still means that they're legally allowed to operate. This change, if they fall within that pink area, would just make them more conforming.
Yeah, because he's kind of an icon down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I have.
Any other?
Yes, I have a question. In that area up on East Street, that proposed residential development is going to occur, what is going to happen with the existing houses out there? I know there are a few still there. What would happen with those?
They would be able to continue as single family developments or duplexes. They'd also be able to redevelop at a higher density should they wish to.
Mr. Webb, you had mentioned in that same area that Commissioner Thomas just spoke of, you were talking about navigation centers. Could you give us the definition of that?
Sure, I can read it straight from the attachment. And when we propose it as permitted use, we have an understanding that the city, owns those properties and would have oversight on how that facility is run. And we really don't envision this to be something that the general public would like to develop multiple facilities within these areas. Also because we don't have a lot of parcels that are 2.5 acres or larger, they'd have to, accumulate a few of the parcels to get to that minimum 2.5 acres. But let me answer your question. Navigation centers, as defined in the proposed specific plan amendment, would be a housing first, low barrier, service enriched shelter facility on a minimum of 2.5 acres, focused on moving homeless and homeless families into permanent housing, and provides temporary living facilities while on-site case managers connect individuals experiencing homeless to income, public benefits, health services, shelter, and housing. This definition primarily comes straight from the state. We've only modified it to include the 2.5 acres minimum, and we added the on-site case management. So we want to make clear that services will be provided on site. And I know this proposal isn't about the specifics to the wellness center, but in addition to these services, the wellness center is planned to have an on-site medical clinic. So it's in our opinion, a little bit more, it provides more services than a typical navigation center. Not to mention that we plan for it to be a non-congregate setting where individuals would have, the dignity of having their own private room.
And that's in the area on the maps that we saw, the green area, which I think is more open space, and that's where this is proposed area, correct?
Yeah, so the green area, yes, where that cursor is, it currently is green as open space, but the proposal would make it all yellow, bringing it into the residential medium district. And the site that the city's looking at for that navigation center is at the terminus of First Street. It would be just north of Evadale Park.
Right. Okay, thanks for that explanation. Does anybody else have any questions on this specific plan? Then hearing none, I'll go ahead and I will open up the public hearing on agenda item number 3. Is there anyone here to speak to us?
Yes, Miguel Soto.
Yes, not really a question, more of a comment. These presentations, whoever designed them, created them, they were beautifully presented. And thank you, Mr. Webb, for answering my question. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And anyone else?
No hands raised.
Okay. Thank you. Then I will close the public hearing, and I'll bring agenda item number 3 back to the commission for a determination.
So there's 2 items to approve, correct?
You mean the assessment and the specific plan amendment?
Yeah,
Environmental and the specific plan?
yes.
Yeah.
So if I move to pass those, do them individually or can I just say, I move to approve the
Yeah,
case as written?
If I might, yeah, Commissioner Harriman, you could just move to approve or deny the staff recommendation as stated in the staff report.
Okay, so that's what I'll do. I move to approve the agenda item as written from our staff.
A second.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Harriman, seconded by Commissioner Thomas. Roll call, Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
and Chair Kirk.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And then we'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is the banquet hall. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Agenda item number 4 is case number PLAN 21-00007. It's a conditional use permit with an environmental exemption to allow for the upgrade of an alcohol license from a type 40 to a type 47 to permit for the sale for beer, wine, and distilled spirits for on-site consumption at an existing legally non-conforming banquet hall within a C2 general commercial zone district. This proposal is located at 15010 Circle Drive, which is at the southerly corner of 7th Street and Circle near the Victorville City Library. This proposal will upgrade the existing type 40 license, which currently allows only for the sale of beer for on-site consumption, to a type 47, which will allow for beer, wine, and alcohol sales. The site has been in operation since 2007 and is considered legally non-conforming because at the time, banquet halls were a conditional use in the C2 zone. So they have a current conditional use permit that allows them to operate. However, our municipal code does allow the expansion or alteration of a non-conforming use such as this with approval of a conditional use permit. The applicant would like to upgrade their existing license to afford them the opportunity to secure additional clients. Typical events that take place at this facility are things like weddings, sweet 16s, quinceañeras, birthdays, award ceremonies, company events, etc. The hours of operation that the site currently utilizes is Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until midnight. And this is based upon scheduled events. As proposed, a finding of public convenience and necessity is required in as much as the underlying census tract allows 5 on sale alcohol license and 15 are existing. However, staff would note that there are limited banquet facilities in the underlying census tract. Appropriate findings are also included in the resolution to make this finding should the Planning Commission consider this request. Overall, the site meets the requirements of the Victorville Municipal Code for the alteration of a non-conforming use. There are also conditions of approval included in the resolution that would address the prevention of reoccurring uses, such as a nightclub. So a nightclub wouldn't be able to establish on a recurring basis. Security guards are required during events, and it also includes the typical requirements of any restaurant, such as a video log, proper ABC licensing, etc. The police department raised no concerns when we reached out for comments on this project. The site has no code enforcement issues over the history of their use of the facility, and the site is overall well maintained. Based on this record, the site has generally been a good neighbor in the city and complies with their existing conditional use permit conditions of approval. That being said, staff recommends that the Planning Commission conduct a public hearing, receive testimony regarding the proposed project, and take the following actions. Find the project categorically exempt from CEQA per section 15301 entitled Existing Facilities. Make the necessary findings of public convenience or necessity as included in the conditional use permit resolution, and adopt resolution number P-21-025, approving conditional use permit case number PLAN 21-00007, subject to the attached conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Haragi. And are there any questions from the commissioners on this item? Okay, nothing at this point. Then I'm going to open up the public hearing on agenda item number 4. And we'll take a look and see if anyone's here to speak to us on item 4.
Yes, we have Miguel Soto.
Okay.
I know I heard a little bit about code compliance. What data are we getting this from? We're getting from local, state, or federal, federal information. Where are we getting this data from? I asked because I actually used to be a youth decoy program in the youth decoy program. And there's some on 7th Street that actually do sell, or have sold to minors before. So my question is, do we have any real data in terms of compliance and selling to minors? Thank you.
Staff, can we answer where the data? I think it was our own city code enforcement division and the sheriff's department data on this one, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, we reached out to police department and no response was provided. No net red flags were raised. There's no record of code enforcement cases in our own database. And we also were unable to locate any alcohol beverage control violations on file with the user.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions on agenda item number 4? I mean, people that want to comment.
There are no speakers, no more speakers.
Okay, thank you. Then I'll close the public hearing on agenda item number 4 and bring it back to the commission.
I guess I'll do it again. I move to approve agenda item number 4 as written.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Vice Chair Harriman, seconded by Commissioner Cook Askins. Roll call vote, Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
and Chair Kerr.
Aye.
That motion passes.
Okay. Thank you for that. And at this time, we have general public comments where members of the public can address the Planning Commission on items that are within our subject matter jurisdiction. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to us regarding general public comment?
Give it a few seconds. No hands raised, no speakers.
Okay, thank you. I'll move on to a presentation of reports. We'll start with Commissioner Cook Askins. Do you have anything to report?
I'm just happy to see that Dollar General going in, because that's certainly needed in that area there, because it's nothing, along those lines. So happy to see that be going in over the next few months.
Great. And Commissioner Thomas, anything?
No, nothing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Harriman.
Yeah, I have a couple of things, and I know one of them has been addressed in the past, but the state, especially now that the government says they're going to do all this infrastructure, we need a more attractive wall or barrier with the freeway as people pass through Victorville. They get that stupid chain link fence, just is not very attractive. When you're down below, there are sound walls, there are concrete walls stamped with local history and that kind of thing, and we just don't get any of that. So it would be nice if there was some way to lobby the state, Caltrans or something, to get something more attractive for our city. The other thing I wanted to talk about, it was brought to my attention recently by a property owner that owns 2 lots on Enterprise and Nisqually, and he's trying to sell his properties, and he's having a problem doing that because of all the trucks that are parking and being stacked, the trailers from the Arm & Hammer plant. I've been over there and checked it out, and Arm & Hammer is got a couple vehicles that are used just specifically to jockey around trailers, and they're taking them into the street and leaving them and during the course of the day. And it's you know, it's a mess down there. I'm not sure by the width of those streets, or especially Enterprise, it was definitely not improved to accommodate trucks on both sides and for traffic to pass through. So I was wondering if staff, I guess, has heard anything about this, or has code enforcement have an open case about it? That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Harriman. The only thing I'd like to say is just as a point of clarification, when we're making motions, it was about maybe a year and a half ago or so, we made a change when the staff would give their report at the beginning of the agenda item, and they were kind enough to be able to now read the staff recommendation in full, whether that's a conditional use permit, a sales permit, anything, the environmental stuff. They're reading that all for us now, and so it makes it simpler for us. So just as a reminder, when we go to make our motions, we can just make the motion and say, if we're in agreement with the staff, assuming we are, we can just say as recommended by staff. It makes it easier. And of course, if we're not in agreement with the staff recommendation, we're going to make a motion based on what our beliefs are. But I just wanted to make that, so it's a little bit easier for us and a little smoother. And that's all I have. Any staff members, any staff comments or updates?
Thank you, Chairman Kurth. Just regarding what Commissioner Harriman said about the parking issue on Enterprise and Nisqually. Yes, there is an active code case on that, but I will follow up with our code enforcement official to see the status and report back to you. As far as upcoming workshops, I just want to remind the public who's on here and the commission that we're having our second land use workshop on the 26th of this month. It will be virtual via Zoom, and we should be able to report out shortly the first in-person planning commission meeting, which should be coming up. I don't want to give a date yet, but we will let you know and push that information out to you and the public. But things are going good. We're looking forward to see everybody in person at some point. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you.